Hey everyone, it's Aaron again, bringing you another Boomsday Reveal. This time we'll be kicking off with Luna's Pocket Gallery, 7 mana legendary mage spell that changes the cost of your minions in your deck to 1. I can see this being taken in two directions: the Exodia Mage style with Antonidas, Sorcerer Apprentice, Simulacrum, and a lot of burn spells, or in a minion heavy tempo deck with Aluneth. First, let's talk about the Exodia style. The basis of this deck is to use a defensive shell to stay alive until you cast Luna's Pocket Gallery. Then you go off with Antonidas, Simulacrum, Sorcerer's Apprentice, and Fireballs to the face. The problem with this card is that Mage does not have any spell tutoring, like Shadow Visions from Priest, so you can end up drawing Luna's Pocket Gallery last, which would put you in a very difficult position since it only affects minions in your deck. The minion heavy tempo style deck promises more consistency. With cards like Book of Specters and Aluneth, you can constantly flood the board and overwhelm your opponents with big 1-cost minions. Perhaps Sea Giant and Mountain Giant could fit into this type of deck. I suspect we'll see quite a bit of experimentation with this card. Next up, we got Void Analyst, a 2 mana 2/2 Warlock minion with Death Rattle to give all your demons in your hand +1/+1. This card is too weak to fit into any Warlock deck. You could try to fit this into Zoo, but the effect is just too insignificant and slow and has a poor body. This card also definitely does not belong in Even Lock or Cube Lock for the same reasons. Unless there are some pretty awesome demons released in the coming days, I don't see this card being played at all. Dr. Morgan, Warlock Legendary, 8 mana 5/5 with Death Rattle. Swap this with a minion in your deck. Card that can offer a lot of value by constantly recruiting minions on death. It offers extra value with help from cards like Baleful Banker, but I feel like it's just too slow. You're already paying 8 mana for the 5/5 that does nothing when played. Then, when that gets shuffled back in your deck, you'll eventually draw another 8 mana 5/5 that doesn't do anything when played again. This card could also be used in Cube Lock to cheat out Doom Guards, but it's quite inconsistent. I just don't see the application of this card, but I'll definitely be looking for one when it releases. The Stormbringer, Shaman Legendary spell. 7 mana transform your minions into random legendary minions. A card that offers potential high roll, but also potential low roll. Anyone who's experimented with Prince Liam and Odd Paladin knows that there are some really bad legendaries. But to be fair, you tend to only remember the bads and not the good. So to save you some time, I've looked up all the legendaries in Standard, and out of 106 legendaries, there are 42 good legendaries, 34 medium legendaries, and 30 bad legendaries. So that's roughly 40% good result, 32% for a medium result, and 28% for a bad result. So the odds aren't all that bad, but where the problem lies is that you're paying 7 mana to play this card and you must have a board full of minions to get value, with no guarantee that the minions that come out on the other side will be better than the minions you already had. I think that this card will see some experimentation, but will eventually be phased out as the meta settles. Subject 9, a 5 mana 4/4 neutral legendary minion, Battle Cry, draw 5 different secrets from your deck. I see some potential in this card in a secret based hunter deck. Hunters have quite a few good secrets that are definitely playable, and some good secret synergy with Eagle Hornbow, Professor Putricide, and Lesser Emerald Spellstone. 5 mana 4/4 draw 5 is incredibly powerful, and with the beast tag, I think this card might just be enough to make Secret Hunter relevant. The other secret classes don't have enough good secrets to make this card work. Next up, we got Prismatic Lens, 4 mana Paladin spell, draw a minion and spell from your deck, swap their costs. A unique mechanic and has some interesting applications. You can cheat out big Paladin spells by running small minions or get big minions for cheap, but then you'd be stuck with a weak spell for a big mana cost. There are some cheeky combos like collecting a cheap Dino-Size, then using Stone Tusk Spore and Blessed Champion, but then again you might just end up with an 8-cost Boar. There just doesn't seem like a reliable way to properly build your deck around this card. However, it could be run just as a simple 4 mana draw 2 with some utility in a value-based Paladin deck. Overall, I don't think this card is strong enough to see in competitive play. Galvanizer, 2 mana 1/2 neutral minion with Battle Cry, reduce the cost of mechs in your hand by 1. Comparable to Fireplume Harbinger, which was a 2 mana 1/1 Shaman minion, reducing all elementals in your hand by 1. That card saw no play, and imagine Galvanizer will see little to no play. Cards that reduce mana cost of other cards in hand always have some potential for interesting combos, but unless some crazy combo arises, I don't think this card is going to be strong enough to see any competitive play. Finally, we got Thorium Bombur, a 5 mana 5/5 with Battle Cry, shuffle a bomb in your opponent's deck. When drawn, it explodes for 5 damage. That's actually pretty decent. She's a little sister of Iron Juggernaut, an old warrior legendary which was a 6 mana 6/5 shuffling a mine that dealt 10 damage. A 5 mana 5/5 is quite a bit better than a 6 mana 6/5, but a 10 damage bomb is obviously a lot better than a 5 damage. However, this card is non-legendary, which means you can run 2 of, and it's neutral, so you can run it in multiple classes. I think this card will see some fringe play and some super aggressive face decks. That's it for the cards released so far. Thank you for watching, and I'll be back tomorrow for another video for the next set of cards revealed. Be sure to tune in.